Welcome to week 2 of the birth of a movement. The early church was characterized by miraculous signs, wonders, boldness, and courage. It amazes me that the disciples did not take their message to Jerusalem, to Galilee, to friendly Galilee, but instead they took their message to the heart of Jerusalem, to the heart of the faith. They stood right in front of those that had tortured and executed and crucified Jesus with the message of the empty tomb. It would have been so much easier for them to stay in Galilee, friendly Galilee, where they had friends and family, and the message would have been easily received. But no, they took it right to the heart, right in front of those that had executed Jesus. And God gave to the early disciples signs and wonders and miracles. Peter was able to do the miracles that Jesus did. He made sure that everyone knew that he was doing those miracles in Jesus' name. This week we're going to look at one of the first miracles recorded of Peter. In the temple, he healed a lame beggar. That was in chapter 3 of Acts. I love what Peter says to this lame beggar as he enters the temple. He said, Silver and gold I do not have, but what I do have I give to you. In Jesus Christ of Nazareth walk. I love that phrase. I do not have gold or silver, but what I do have I'll give to you. That's what God calls us to do, to give what we have. Peter and James and John were faithful believers, faithful Jews. They went to the temple to pray. They were there right in the heart of Jerusalem. That healing, that miracle, and Peter's speech irritated, infuriated the Sanhedrin. They were called before the Sanhedrin. And in chapter 4, we'll look at Peter's defiant speech before them. Peter says to the Sanhedrin who request that he stop speaking in Jesus' name, he said, we cannot stop speaking about what we have seen and heard. Peter would not stop. Here's the man who had 6 weeks before hid, and now he's courageously standing in front of the Sanhedrin. For me, that change of the disciples was one of the proofs of the resurrection. They were convinced that the empty tomb was empty, that Jesus rose from the grave, and they could do nothing else but proclaim that message. And nothing that anyone would do would stop them. They were willing to die. And who would die for a lie? They believed the tomb was empty. And thousands began to join this early church. So this week we're going to look at that healing that's recorded in the 3rd chapter of Acts, and Peter's first defiant appearance before the Sanhedrin. At the end of that chapter, we'll notice the prayer of the disciples of that early church. They don't pray for protection, but they pray for boldness. So I encourage you this week to go on the website and to look at the 2 descriptions of Lectio Divina and Imago Divina, to reflect upon and become part of those stories of Peter's healing and Peter before the Sanhedrin. Reflect on some of those powerful words of Peter. If you'd like to be part of the Facebook discussion group, send me an email and we'll include you in this closed group. Again, thank you for being part of the journey.